Hi there, it's me, it's Mike, and I know I just did a video. Here's another one. Congratulations. What I got just yesterday was this 2-pack from Walmart. This is 2 Mandalorians. 2 more Mandalorians than I had just the day before. And because I got this, I can finally do a video on this one, because I always planned on just doing them together. Because if you're getting 1 Mandalorian and 2 more are coming out that are real close in looks, you might as well just wait until they all come out. I've had this one for a little while. I think maybe 2 months at this point. I got this from Toy Snowman. You can check out his website. He's a cool guy. I mean, I paid for it, but like, he got it to me before Target got them, so he wins. This is a Target exclusive, and these are Walmart exclusives. I don't know why Walmart gets a 2-pack and Target just gets a little onesie. But I don't care. It's more Mandalorians. And if there's anything that our shelves need, it's more Mandalorians. These are from season 3 of The Mandalorian. Shriek Bat trainers, and then just the Shriek Hawk. A lot of Shriek stuff going out. So these are in that group. And if you're curious, you can see all 3 of these specific Mandalorians at the beginning of the fight in the battle for Navarro. They are kind of blink and you'll miss them, but if you watch this scene over and over again, you can pick out all 3 of those specific ones. They are seen earlier in the series, but they're all together right here, which I find convenient. And honestly, I like it. They're like hodgepodged figures, just reusing parts we've seen before, but with new configurations and different paint. So let's go ahead and take a look at them, because that's what I do with videos like this. We take a look at it. So here we have both packages. We're going to start by taking this one away, and we're going to look at this one first because it's the one that I got first. So that makes sense to do, right? Again, thanks to Amir from Toy Snowman for getting this to me so fast. Sorry it's taken me this long to do it, but again, I was waiting to get them all. This is, of course, a Mando in the new package. We have this as the mural art, and it is part of the main mural wave of these figures. So it's number 40 in the Mandalorian line. That's bonkers. On the back, it says, the Shriek Hawks are a team of Mandalorian specialists skilled in jetpack operations, as well as scouting and rescue missions. And then, of course, we have the figure here. But why keep talking about the package? Let's get it out and take a look at it. Okay, so here we have the Mandalorian Shriek Hawk, Shriek Bat. What is it? Shriek. It's just the Mandalorian Shriek Hawk out of his package. And he is a hodgepodge of colors and parts. So being a dude variant of the Mandalorian Death Watch figure, we've taken a few looks at this figure before, starting with the granddaddy. Now, this is the original Mandalorian Death Watch, which this, all the other Mandalorians, including the new Din Djarin, sort of take their base mold from. But what's interesting is virtually all of them are different somehow. And you can even see there's actually a height difference between these 2 figures. It's probably to do with like these shins being longer, but he is a good, maybe a 1/4 of an inch higher than the Mandalorian Death Watch figure, which is a pretty interesting thing I wasn't expecting. So that's kind of nice. He does have a different chest than the original one. He's got some the same underpants, but and different like parts glued on, but the bones, the construction is the same because it's basically just like an overlay on there. But again, it's not just a straight repaint. There are differences. Obviously, he's got this long sort of skirt thing, which I'm not the biggest fan of, especially with it being hard rubber, because it will, no matter what you do, hinder articulation, and that's just how it's going to be. But one of the interesting things about this guy is that these do seem to be different boots than any of the other figures, and it does seem to be modeled after the Book of Boba Fett. Like these could be a pre-mold for that, which is just interesting. So just to kind of go through the line here, we do have Axe Woves, who's more or less a straight repaint with some very minor differences, but a very similar figure to the Death Watch Mando. That was the first one. And then we do have the Mandalorian Fleet Commander. Now, if you watched my last Mandalorian, oops, this is hard to do with my arm so far back. A lot of people commented that my helmet on that one was very messed up. So I did end up ordering a new one online and basically just swapping the helmet and returning it. It's still a little bit of a bobble helmet, but it's not bad. It's not as bad as it was for sure. And then we do have the more recent figure here of the just the Night Owl or whatever it was. That was a Target exclusive figure, just like this one. But the difference is, with the exception of the Death Watch, all of these guys were associated with the Bo-Katan's Mandalorians, like Bo-Katan. All of those guys are Bo-Katan Mandalorians. This one is actually kind of a prequels or a Clone Wars guy, whereas these come after. They probably would have been kids around the Clone Wars. But so this is the first one we've gotten where it's actually Din's people, like his Culvern, if you will, where you can tell they're a lot more hodgepodge. They're piecing together things, different colors, different levels of less uniformy, I guess is what I'm trying to say here, where they've piecemealed a lot of like fabrics and stuff into there, where these are more traditional looking armors. And I find that fascinating. But again, the chest piece is the same between these, but there are paint differences. He obviously has different belt pieces. He's got different boots. This one and this one tend to be, these are the same ones from like the tank driver kind of uniform from like Rogue One and I think the Mandalorian, Din and Migs Mayfeld wear the uniform. So that's what it is, whereas these are more boots. But again, this one does seem to be sort of a pre-mold for Book of Boba Fett. Their helmets are all different. This is the only one that's not removable. No, I'm sorry, this one's not removable either. Just kidding, only these two are removable. So another non-removable Mando, but again, that makes sense for these because they did not remove their helmets. It was like the big thing, whereas they didn't care about it. This is just a generic person, so it's better that he can't. But these are characters whose faces we saw, so I like that. This is a character whose face we should never see, so I like that. I'm not really going to go over things like articulation because we've seen that a million times. This is essentially just the same figure, so it wouldn't be interesting to kind of talk about. If you want to see that, there's, you can go look at it. But we can talk about his accessories for a little bit. We do have the jetpack, which is necessary for being a Shriek Hawk person. And it is basically the same jetpack we've seen a couple times, just with a different paint job. I like this one. There's actually a lot of paint on it, which is nice. Whereas this one, there is paint, but it's a lot more bland looking backpack from the previous Target exclusive one. Whereas this one, again, lots of paint on it, which is really, really nice. And just if you want to see the differences, this is the one from the Fleet Commander. He's very Jango Fett in how his armor looks. And I really do think that they should do a Jango Fett on this body. It makes sense to do. Interestingly, there is a little bit of a difference here. This sticks out, whereas this doesn't. It still moves, but it doesn't stick out as much. So that's interesting. And then, of course, we do have the axe woves, which is different. This one, he has a different configuration. It's very similar in design, but it is different. So that's interesting. So the jetpack just goes just like all the others. There's 3 holes on the back. You press it in. I find that if you just kind of give it a good firm press on all the different ways, I know a lot of people have issues with these staying on there because there is an overlay on the chest, which means that there's a little bit more thickness you have to get it through. But once you do that, it stays on pretty well. And that does complete the silhouette a little bit better. This one actually comes with some extra weapons. A lot of the previous Mandalorians have just come with like the Mandalorian hand blaster. This one has a lot of paint on it, which I'm very surprised to see. And then he does have a holster for it. And I've been just tending to display my Mandos when they come with a holster, just putting their blasters in there just so I don't lose them. And I feel like, you know, they wouldn't be like holding their blasters constantly if they have a holster for it. But this one also comes with the same weapon that the Death Watch Mando came with, the same blaster, but it's got paint on it, which is great. Look at that. I mean, it's just gold, but it looks real nice. I love it. So he isn't just a single blaster Mando. He does have a holster for one of the blasters he comes with, unlike the Fleet Commander one, who does not, which is weird. I don't know, maybe he didn't in the show, and it makes sense from a lore perspective, but I don't care. He should have one, even if he didn't have one in the show. I really don't care. I know this blaster is kind of hard to get it in their hand. I find it, you have to kind of like work it in from the top and like have the thumb come in over. It's real tough to get it to sit in properly, but once you do, I find it stays in pretty well. So he's kind of holding it like so, and then he does have that extra little handle at the end. And there we have the Shriek Hawk, the Mandalorian Shriek Hawk. And I have to say, I really like this figure. I don't love the long waistcoat. Like, I think it looks good. I just don't like that it's hard molded rubber. I wish it were soft fabric. I really do. I know people like Lance Peter Luke, who famously doesn't like the soft goods. I think this would have been better as soft goods. I really, really do. But that being said, we have this. So same kind of situation, but now this is a 2-pack. Again, this is from Walmart. It just came out. I got mine just a few days ago. It comes with basically one guy and one girl. Kind of some variety in here. I don't know why Walmart gets the 2-pack and Target doesn't, but I don't really care because I like this. I would have bought them anyway, even if they were single pack, but now they come as a 2-pack, and they were cheaper than buying 2 of them. It was $45 for this, whereas 2 are 50 because they're 25 each. So I like that. On the side, we get this, the 2 of them together like this. And then on the back, it says, led by a training team, Mandalorian Shriek Hawk's honed special skills and jetpack operations, scouting, and rescue missions. Is that the same that the other one said? Yes, it is. It is pretty much the exact same. Anyways, let's go ahead and get these out as well. So here we have them out of the package, and just for fun, let's get her out of the way because I want to spend more time on her. Since we just looked at the other dude, let's go ahead and take a look here. Again, he is very different. This is more of a traditional kind of armored figure. If we go back to like the original Death Watch figure, but even more so, it's still different. He's got a very unique chest piece here. We don't have anything like this, which is very interesting. He also has a unique belt kind of waist piece, which is neat. His legs are more traditional in terms of it's got these same little shin guards that like the tank drivers and stuff had, but the chest and arms are different, which I think is really cool. One interesting difference here is that his little scope, they still put the piece here and it is movable, but it is broken, and it comes like that's normal. That's on purpose. If you look at the picture on the box, it's broken. That's how it is. So they did that intentionally. He has a broken visor, which I think is a really fun attention to detail. Like they could have left it off, but they didn't. It's still movable, which is just kind of fun. So he is basically the same as the other guys, not too different. He does have the Death Watch logo. This one doesn't have the Death Watch. Oh, it does. I missed it. I didn't look that hard. So it is neat that they all have the Death Watch logo. I'm doing these off the fly here. He does come with basically the same kind of accessories. He has his backpack there, and it's the same backpack that the other ones have. These are, if you want to, they're compatible with the flame effects. Like if you have the Boba Fett backpack that came with the jetpacks, it's compatible with those. I think it's also compatible if you have the Death Troopers, Dark Troopers, I mean, that came with little jets. It should be compatible with those as well. But yeah, so we're gonna put his jetpack on him because Mandos need jetpacks. Isn't that right, Sabine Wren? He does have just the same kind of blaster, and again, it does have paint on it, which is really, really nice. Like there's a lot of attention to detail on here. There's a lot of paint apps. I like the stripe on here. I love all the paint apps on the helmet. Everything here looks really good. The paint on the gloves, the manacle, the paint on the jetpack. There's a lot of paint. They're really not skimping on the paint. There's more painted here than you really think. I really like his holster going in the front. And then of course he does come with the Death Watch blaster as well, which I guess makes sense now that I think about it. It makes sense that these guys have the Death Watch blasters and the Bo-Katan figures don't, because they're not Death Watch. They don't like Death Watch. So it would make sense for them to not have Death Watch gear because this is specifically the Death Watch blaster, as you see like in the flashbacks of the first season of Mandalorian and the show, things like that. So yeah, that's it. And again, it's another Mando. What's nice about it is while he does have a blue helmet, and this is true for this one too, they are a lot less blue. So I know there's a lot of complaints, and you know, maybe rightfully so, that there's a lot just more blue Mandos, but there's very little that's blue on him. This the stripe in his helmet. Everything else is like a brown or tan or whatever, green, like not blue. So, and he isn't blue. So it does break up the shelf, which is nice. But let's get these out of here and let's finally take a look at the lady. This is the female Shriek Hawk trainer, and again, she does have a lot of blue on her. It's different, and maybe purples, but I don't know if that's like a lavender or like a purple or blue, because I am colorblind, but I know it's something like that. But I do like she has a lot of fun colors on her. And again, we do have the Death Watch Mando on her shoulder, the Death Watch logo. I like there's a lot of scarring and scoring on here, and I do like that she has this fun little scarf. Like that's a fun little thing, and she does have this little kind of tunic that comes down on the front and the back. So again, it's just different. So let's compare her to, you know, the first one that came out is Bo-Katan. So all of the female body molds of this type stem from Bo-Katan. They use her as a base and kind of build from there. And you can see, unlike the male body part, there is more reuse on here, but not 100% no reuse, or not 100% reuse, I should say. Like, obviously this is different. And if you're wondering, I got this extra dark saber from getting a cheap credit collection Moff Gideon. So thanks to the cheap credit collection Moff Gideon, I've got an extra dark saber for Bo-Katan because I felt like she needed it. Like Bo-Katan should come with it. And then, you know, moving on from there, we of course we do have Casca Reeves, the second lady Mandalorian that we got, and they do have different belts. She's missing the extra little hip slung holster, but there are subtle differences. It's not just the same, and obviously they have removable helmets with their respective faces underneath, and this one doesn't, as well as the Night Owl that was a Walmart exclusive. So these are two Walmart exclusive figures, this one and this one. These are just part of the main line released, you know, a couple years ago. They were released a while ago. So I don't think they're hard to get, honestly. And I'm pretty sure Bo-Katan was just released in the overseas archive line. But these are the female Mandalorian bodies that we've gotten so far. And I think they look good. They are more on the blue spectrum than the guys uniformly, but I mean, blue is a good color, so I don't mind. I do think she's my favorite of all of them. I just like the colors of her blue, but I do think that these all look good. I love the helmet for sure, and I like that it does mix up the shelf, so it's not just a giant sausage fest. I would like to get maybe a different body type just to get so they don't just all look like the same person wearing different armor. But you know, they're toys. I'm not gonna complain that much about it. If we're gonna take a look at her accessories real fast, she does of course come with I don't know why all the girls come with like literally the tiniest jetpacks, like all of them, just tiny ass jetpacks. And they all come with the same one, just with different paint apps here. I just feel like you can give him a bigger jetpack. I don't think it needs to be huge, but like it's just so small. Like, was it really that small in the show? I feel like it could be a little bigger. I don't know. But she does have a jetpack, which is nice. She does have the same kind of smaller blaster, but unfortunately hers has very little paint on it for some reason, which normally this is what I would expect. The problem is, you know, all the other Mandalorians have better paint on their blasters, and this one, not only is it unpainted, it's this weird kind of grayish flat color with a blob of black. It just feels like there's almost no detailing or sculpting on there because there's just nothing going on. But she does have a holster for it to go into, where it will be staying on mine because I don't love that. I don't love the look, but it'll look fine in her holster. But just like the rest, we have the exact same blaster with the exact same gold painting. There's no difference that I could see in the three blasters for here. They all have the exact same blaster. I am a little interested to find out how well she'll hold it because she does have smaller hands than the other figures. So I don't know. I might have to do this off camera. Yeah, I'm not saying it's impossible to get her to hold it properly, but you do have to have her hold the big trigger down here. Her hand's not big enough to wrap around the whole thing. And it's really hard. It's not impossible, but it's really hard to get her to hold it in both hands because it is sized for the larger figures, and she is smaller, hence her smaller jetpack. So I think I'm just gonna have her kind of hold it like this, where it's more of a casual thing instead of an at ready. But I think it still looks good. Like I've got to have Casca holding one because she only has one holster for whatever reason. They decided Casca Reeves only gets one holster. I don't have Bo-Katan holding any blasters because she's got two holsters, and I gave her the dark saber. I think that looks pretty good, honestly. I like it. I like it a lot. And here they are all together. I have to say, I do like the way all of these look together. They look like Mandalorians, and that's what they're supposed to look like. So I guess mission accomplished. I think that these are, for me, an easy add to the shelf. I think that they fit in. I'm glad we have them. Back when the line started, I never thought that I would have basically an entire shelf of Mandalorian. Say what you want about modern Star Wars, Lucasfilm, Disney, whatever. I have been a Star Wars fan for most of my life. Like, I became a Star Wars fan during the dark times in the 90s, before the prequels were even a real thing. Like, they were just some far off idea, whispers that people heard, though George Lucas is going to go back and make 1, 2, and 3 before 4, 5, and 6. But like, it was one of those things that, like, yeah, maybe we'll see. You know, all we had were the original trilogy and books and comics and some video games that none of them were great, but it was all we had, you know? Now we've got this. We've got so many cool things that I just never thought we'd see in real life on screen, either TV show. The idea of a Star Wars live action TV show is bonkers. I know Lucas wanted to do that Star Wars Underground thing, but you know, the rumors is, oh, every episode was going to cost like $10 million because of all the CGI and whatnot. Like, it was just, we were never going to get a Star Wars TV show. And here we have a 3rd season of a Star Wars TV show that's about Mandalorians. Like, if you told 10-year-old Mike Case one day there'd be a whole show about Mandalorians, the people that Boba Fett was at the time, because, you know, no one knew what Boba Fett was back then. He wasn't a clone back then. No one knew who Boba Fett was. I mean, this is just something unheard of. And I'm just thankful that we live in a time, that I'm alive for a time where we have this. This is fun. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but for me, it's 100% my cup of tea. Even though I don't really like tea, I'll drink it. And if I did like tea, this would be the cup I drink. But, you know, I have to say, for the single pack Target exclusive Mando, this guy, I'm gonna give him like a 4.5 4 out of 5. I don't love that, but I love the paint. I love the hodgepodge look. I love that he comes with weapons. He has a lot of paint. It sucks that he's Target exclusive. I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think he's hard to find. I didn't have a problem getting him. I've seen him in store. I've seen him available online. But again, I did get mine from Toy Snowman. There is a link down if you want to check his website out. Click the link, helps me out as well. But then the Walmart ones, again, I just got those. I'm going to give those probably about the same score, probably like a 4.5 out of, or 4 out of 5. There's nitpicks I can nitpick, like with her blaster and like the gun not fitting her hands super well. But I do love that they're so different. Like, Hasbro still put effort into these figures. Like, that's a chest we haven't seen before. These boots we technically haven't seen before. There's new stuff here, even though they're just another Mando, even though it's just stuff we've technically seen. There's still new stuff here, and they flesh out the shelf. They look good. They're fun to pose. It's a good mold. All of them. Probably one of the best molds in the line, honestly. That the Death Watch Mando body is probably one of the best molds in the line. So as much as Hasbro wants to use this and can use it, I'm okay with it. Again, put Jango Fett on that body. It'll look great, and it'll be way better than the Jango Fett that we got. And that's it. That's my review. Let me know what you think. Did you get these? Are you getting these? Are you tired of Mandos? Which is it's valid. Like, I'm not tired of Mandos. Again, I never thought we'd have anything like this. But there are people that don't share that view, and that's fine too. If you're Mandoed out, that's perfectly okay. But let me know down in the downstairs area. I love to read and respond to comments when I can. I'd also like to thank these people here for supporting me on my YouTube channel membership. It means a lot to me that you guys do that. Again, I'm trying to put out more videos. I've got more stuff to review. I'm trying to get every figure I have gotten this year. I'm trying to review it. I'm a little behind, but this is 3 off the list. So anyways, thanks for watching. Thanks for getting this far, and I'll see you later. Bye.